welcome to our community. Susie Thomas joining you this morning. And joining me this morning is Doug Freilich from the big committee, the Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival. Doug, you seem awfully calm for everything that must be going on in your mind right now. What's going on?
It's a busy time, but it's a great time for Stark County, for Canton, for the Hall of Fame, for the Enshrinement Festival. We're in the midst of the 2019 Enshrinement Festival, so it's a great time for Stark County.
And it all starts kind of tonight, right? Well, it started when we got a Queen in Court.
Queen in Court back in May, Queen and Royal Ambassadors.
Yes.
The community parade was this past Sunday.
That's right.
The weather cooperated for us for the community parade.
So grateful.
That was good, and Balloon Classic this weekend, so we're in full swing.
Full disclosure, we're recording this on Monday with our fingers and toes crossed that everything happens. But what happens when it all goes perfectly and all those balloons launch? When can we find them? Where can you best see them? And everything. The
first flight, actually, a media flight, happens Friday morning this morning. So that goes up went up this morning, hopefully at 6 o'clock. Tonight is the first public flight that happens in the evening. They go again tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, and then they fly again on Sunday morning.
So amazing.
It is.
Where do they all come from?
We have balloonists from all over the country. We have balloonists that are here for the first time. We have some who have been here year after year and love coming back to Canton and our event because of the way they're treated and the hospitality that they're shown by the people of Canton. So they're from all over.
Yes, and it all takes place where?
At Kent State University, Stark, and the campuses of Stark State College. You mentioned parking. There's parking available on campus. And ample viewing on campus is spectacular because you're right there. There is parking on side streets, surface lots around the campus, and really anywhere. If somebody doesn't want to come to the campus itself, anywhere around the campus, there's once the balloons are in the air, they're viewable from a lot of places right around Kent, Stark.
When you think of what a spectacular event this is, and it's totally free, so you can pack a picnic and go just about anywhere. Or if you want to dine out at one of the area restaurants, usually there's patio seating. Look up in the sky, and you see it happening, don't you? It's just amazing.
There's a small fee if you park on campus.
Okay.
But again, if somebody wants to come out, that fee per car. You mentioned food and dining up on the track. There's entertainment on the track. There are food vendors there. There are food vendors down by the balloon launch field. So there's plenty to do, plenty to eat and enjoy the evening or the morning.
It's quite amazing. I almost don't recognize the campus the way all of the food trucks and everything are out. It's like it looks completely different. Do you find that?
It's amazing how that comes together. I had the opportunity, the privilege to serve as chairperson of the Balloon Classic for 2 years, and it's amazing. You look at the campus before setup begins, and it's an empty field and a beautiful campus. And throughout that week, leading up to the tents and the fence and all that go up. And the amazing part of it is that when the event is over on Sunday, by Sunday night, early Monday morning, you wouldn't necessarily even know that anything happened there.
It looks like Kent again.
As quick as things
it's amazing.
Come down. Yeah.
Have you been up in a balloon yourself?
I have not. I've had the opportunity to do so, but
passing
I have
so
not. I've passed on that opportunity.
Can I just encourage you to do it?
Everybody tells me that.
Unbelievable and indescribable.
Everybody tells me that. Maybe someday.
It's like floating, Doug.
Well, yeah.
It's like floating
perhaps
in the sky.
Someday. I don't know, but
well, it is fun. Now, in case we might have some weather and they might decide not to go, that doesn't mean that the event's not fun. Tell us what else happens.
Oh, absolutely. I mentioned there's entertainment that happens down by the balloon launch field. There's entertainment up on the track, up above with the part of the food fest that's up there. There's bands that play throughout the night. There's all kinds of things to do. Just because the balloons may not go up, Doesn't discourage people from there's always something to do.
Still a
Spend
fun
the
time.
evening, afternoon with family and enjoy what's there.
And you hear people say, why aren't they going? It's a perfectly nice night. It's not raining. So let's answer that for everyone.
That's one that we hear a lot. Maury Sullivan is our balloon meister.
Mm-hmm.
He runs the event and the competition, and he's been that position for as long as the Balloon Classic has been around. And Maury, his top priority is obviously safety of everybody, the balloonists, the crew, the guests who are there. But he also does everything that he can to get the balloons off the ground. It's frustrating sometimes because you can be there and the weather looks sunny and it looks nice, but then, 500 feet or 1,000 feet above the ground, the wind is significantly different than what it is at ground level. And sometimes people come out and look around and why are they not going off? But and we try, the field announcer that we have tries his best to keep people updated and let them know that the winds aloft are not safe to fly the balloons. But Maury tries everything he can to get them off the ground as often as he can.
Oh, it's just incredible when it all happens and all comes
is.
together. There still will be the glow no matter what, right?
Friday
and
night,
fireworks.
Friday night is the glow. Saturday night is the fireworks. And if people haven't been to see that fireworks show,
my.
I would put that up against any fireworks show around. I mean, it is a tremendous fireworks show to see.
Yep, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Well, we've only spent about, 6.5 minutes, and all we've talked about so far is the very first thing happening tonight. So tell us what else we can look forward to this week.
We have, this weekend gets us into the heart of the Enshrinement Festival. One thing tomorrow morning, along with the balloon launch, is the Up and Away 5K.
Oh.
And that's a 5K race. There's a kids' fun run that's part of that as well. And the neat thing about the 5K is that it happens out on the campus of Kent Stark. So last year, people who are doing the race around the loop road on the campus, at the same time balloons are flying over and balloons are coming into the campus. So that's kind of a neat
Very cool.
aspect of the event is, if the balloons fly, they're coming in and the balloon activity while the race is going on.
That'll be so fun.
So that's Saturday morning, too.
Pre-registration required?
Registration was online. I think at this point registration has closed.
Okay. And you can't just show up and run.
I don't think. I think pre-registration, you have to pre-register for that.
Okay. Well,
but I would
you got
encourage
involved
anybody
in
to
it.
call the Chamber of Commerce and ask.
Great.
Double-check that question.
Perfect. All right. What else is happening?
And then there's a couple days. Then Wednesday, July 31st, is First Play. That's an event that's sponsored by the Hall of Fame. And that's a 3-mile route from Frank T. Bow Building, downtown Canton, through the streets of Canton, and it ends on the front steps of the Hall of Fame. And there are 1,300, 1,500 kids that pass the football from downtown to the campus, and then there are some other activities for the kids that day as well. And that's kind of a neat event to see.
It's amazing to see. Now, is that another thing? Because it looks so organized. Are these just families showing up, or is that also...
Groups and organizations pre-register,
Great,
and then
okay.
they're assigned a location, a block that'll be their location. The morning of First Play, they report to a central location near where they're going to be, and then they get every kid that participates gets a T-shirt, and then they're told where their section is or where their block is, and then they wait until the ball comes from downtown to the hall.
Take that responsibility seriously, don't
Yes,
they?
they
When
do.
it's in their hands, they are
Absolutely.
careful with kid gloves.
Absolutely.
That is so fun.
Yeah.
I've got to say, you've got this enshrinement thing down to a science, Doug. This
Well,
is
thank
really
you.
impressive. Yeah,
It's,
everything is all in order.
It's a passion of mine. I've been involved. This is my 29th year.
Wow.
And I started as a volunteer for what was the hospitality committee through the Hall of Fame, and then I got involved with the Balloon Classic, and it's a passion of mine ever since. And it's a privilege, I think, to be a volunteer and be able to do what we do here in Canton and what we do in Stark County.
Yeah, agreed. Let's tell everybody what else is happening, and then I want to talk about more of these volunteers.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes.
After First Play on Thursday, the 1st, is the autograph session. There's an autograph session down at the Hall of Fame. People can purchase tickets for that as well. And then the big thing that Thursday, August 1st, is the Hall of Fame game that night, the Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons. And the neat thing about the Hall of Fame game this year is that we get to kick off the 100th season of the National Football League.
That's right.
So this coming season is the 100th anniversary of the NFL.
Which started where?
Started right here in Canton, Ohio. So we get to kick off that 100th season of the NFL.
That is very
so that's
cool.
that makes this year kind of special with the Hall of Fame game. And then, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go.
Friday the 2nd of August is a Gold Jacket photo op. All the Gold Jackets who are in town assemble on the front steps of the Hall of Fame, and they have a picture taken every year, and folks can go down and be a part of that as well. The fashion show luncheon happens on Friday as well, and the Enshrinees Gold Jacket dinner then happens Friday evening, August 2nd.
I think there's a myth that you cannot possibly get any tickets to those two things. So let's dispel that.
We hear that a lot, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, dinner, I'm not sure about the status of tickets for that. That one is one that sells out pretty much every year. But the fashion show, there are ample tickets available for that. There are tickets really for any of our events that are ticketed events. The fashion show, the round table. Folks can purchase tickets for the Canton Repository Grand Parade. So any of our ticketed events and any of the events really at the hall, the game, the enshrinement, or the Concert for Legends this year, there are tickets available for any of those as well.
All of that. All right, let's talk about why you would want to buy a ticket for the parade.
That's a good question. People ask that a lot. The advantage to purchasing a ticket for the parade, you get prime seating. Most of the seats are down closer to the beginning of the parade route. Your seats, if you purchase a chair seat, they're right along the street. You're in the front row.
So cool.
Some of the seats are in bleacher seating as well. So if you might not be in the front row, you're elevated, behind those folks who are. They're the prime seats. They're the way to see the parade. You have a little more time to get donuts in the morning, maybe. And, your seat is there waiting for you when you get there in the morning.
And no trying to see between people or put the kids on your shoulders. And
the reserved seats for the parade are the way to go.
It truly, truly. Tell us how important that parade is to the Enshrinees.
We hear from the Enshrinees a lot about, that's the one thing, they talk a lot about their time here in Canton. But one of the things that they mention is they never anticipated what they experienced in the parade. There's 200,000 people along the parade route. And for the Gold Jackets who are coming back, and even for the current class, they may be at a football game where there's, 50 or 60,000 people at a football game. But for them to experience, 200,000 people along the parade route, cheering for them, hollering for them when they're on it, and welcoming them to, we call Canton their forever home. Once they become a member of the Hall of Fame, they're welcome back. This is their forever home. And they talk about that what they experience in the parade is unlike things that they've ever experienced before.
Yeah. It is really neat to see how emotional they get.
It is.
And I know they're not supposed to hop out of the car and shake hands with people, but sometimes they do.
Just safety, we try to not let that happen. But it's something for them to experience that 2.2 mile
very, very cool.
route.
Let's jump back and talk about the fashion show a little bit more. Have you been to the fashion show?
I have been.
Okay, describe that. Isn't it not like Canton, Ohio?
It's like you're in New York or you're in Los Angeles or you're in California or somewhere like that. It's the way the Civic Center is transformed for not only that, but for the other two events that are there. It's something to see. It's fashions for men, for women. It's an experience to see that.
And the music and the lights and the entertainment. There's always a surprise.
Choreographed and it's an amazing show to see.
I love going with somebody who's never been there before and watch their reaction to, my goodness, I can't believe Canton is doing this.
Sure.
And for folks who come in, Canton really puts on a good show all across the board, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's something to see. Very proud of the city when we all the time, but maybe in
Very
particular during this time.
Yes.
We need to take a little short break here, but we're going to be back with Doug Freilich talking about all the enshrinement festivities coming up. You're listening to Our Community.